Warning, what you're about to see may seem hypocritical because I am a self-proclaimed Ford guy. More of why people hate Fords. Okay, even though I did a short on why people hate Fords, I don't know what kind of bird that is. It's a dumb bird. Anyways, had to pull the motor back out for this lovely issue here. You would think all front sump pans are the same, and yes, this is a front, this goes front. This is not a rear sump like a small block Chevy, which would make sense, it'd be fun. Anyways, this area here is a couple inches shorter. Why? Why? Why do you have to have so many different oil pans and baloney? And of course, pickup tube's not the same, which I didn't want to use anything out of this motor, and I'll show you the motor. It got really hot, and it's full of sludge. So, you know, didn't want to spend hours making sure the pickup tube was clean, which I end up having to do, and it's over there. But why? And secondly, or most importantly, why a front sump pan? That's just dumb. I know why they did it, and that's why it's dumb. Here, let's go over to the car. Excuse me. So way back there is the gearbox. Steering linkage is behind the car, so it's known as a rear steer car, which is just dumb. One of the biggest innovations that happened in NASCAR is when they stopped doing this, and I think it might have been Hallman Moody, or however you say that. I might be wrong on that, or the Woods brothers. They were making special chassis and moving the steering to the front. And why? Well, I'll show you in a moment here. Secondly, this is just dangerous. That steering column doesn't have much room to collapse, if it even collapsed. Most of the time they didn't, and this is what was killing a lot of people in the early years, is that pushing that steering column into your chest. Now I'll explain the difference between rear steer and front steer and why it's bogus besides being dangerous. It's bad for racing, it's bad for everything. So imagine this caster wheel representing a front steer car, because we're pulling it this way. Stays nice and straight, caster, camber, everything's great. Now, and you notice it's got some rough sides on one side, and this header panel rolls down towards me. You start going forward, and of course it wants to follow the road or the grade and go the opposite way, even though it's got these rough edges that should be forcing the wheel to go the way. No, it wants to do that. So when you're driving your car, you're constantly fighting keeping it straight, whereas opposed if it's going this way, it's working with you. Yeah, in a way this might work. Oh, it can steer faster, but if all you're doing is turning, and it's not necessarily true, this with the proper caster, camber, and all that set up will always outperform a rear steer car. So that's dumb. And even dumber, this is a 1975. Everyone except for Cadillac and GM had done away with this. So it's just dumb. And then also, what the hell is with this dumb thing? I know they call it a dust cover. What dust is getting into the back of the engine and destroying it, or why? Did GM own the patent on the much superior way of having the transmission cut out and the metal piece that goes in there? So anyways, this is why I'm doing a longer video on why people hate Fords. First of all, it should be modernized. It's 1975, for God's sakes. Why so many oil pans? I guess the only advantage here I could say is, well, it'd be really hard to stick a small block Chevy in this car. You could stick an LS in it, so maybe do that, except for, well, you might as well, since if you want to stick around to the motor mount fiasco, I'll stick that short video I made on shorts and what the deal with the motor mounts is. I guess that would solve my motor mount issues, just fabricating LS mounts for it. But this was supposed to be a cheap job for this guy. Hey, just put a rebuilt motor and stuff in my car, good to go, let me go drive it. It's his grandma's car. I would say if it didn't have sentimental value, I would just crush that thing. So that's the last of my why people hate Ford rants. See ya. Okay, even though I'm a Ford guy, I'm going to do a video on why people hate Fords, and it kind of goes back to the 70s. And first of all, she's sitting out there, a 75 for, not Ford, but Mercury Monarch, and it is a first run vehicle, and I can tell that by, this is the motor mount that was in the car. This is the motor mount that the aftermarket automotive industry sells you. You'd probably think, well, no, they messed up. Nope. Ford used to like to change things. At one point, somebody thought, well, 2 studs is too many, so let's go to 1. But now the problem is I can't get this. So now I have to go searching junkyards for one that has this mount in it so I can get the brackets off. But this is one of the many reasons people started hating Fords. See ya.